Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I am Olga Lucia Lopez, the General Director of the Institute of Geospace Colombia, and I'm going to tell you about the Geospace experience in Colombia. First, we're going to talk about the novelties of the technology, then its applications, and how we can empower in the Colombian area where we're advancing in the cadastral work. Let's start by the definition. It is called Geospace technologies to all of those tools that are set up for the managing, processing, the integration of the information of a location in the Earth space. These type of technology are not separated from the conventional. They can be additional or they can be combined depending on its purpose. So among them, we have the instruments of geographic positioning, the global positioning that allow us to use GPS, the observation of Earth with the management of images, also using sensors and all of the web tools, or in the cloud with the capacity to process information. And in general, we offer all of the tools and applications in this type of application. Now, for the use of these technologies, it requires some specific standards and infrastructure. When we talk about a space database with specific formats for their delivery, and also for specific geographical information, and also the application of standards such as product metadata. And in Colombia, the use of this technology is common. In the regional context, we have had a privileged development because there is a great capacity that we may implement. The development of geographical information, the analysis of remote perception, and the availability and analysis of georeference information. In the last 10 years, the Agustin Codazza Geographic Institute has delivered technical assistance to 55 initiatives in the use of ITGs without including their own production. The uses of the Let's talk about the application of this technology, the uses of the ITG, and how they are used in this process. The gathering of satellite images is the more widespread recollection. They are available through drones and satellites used for different disciplines such as the photo interpretation and multi-purpose images. An image of satellite with characteristics of 2D, they allow measuring areas and distances. You can generate basic cartography or thematic cartography for soils, weather, and forecasting. Also, the analysis of images in 3D allows to measure volumes and altitudes and topography. It is important to mention the analysis of this technology requires of high volumes of data. And in this case, we are observing an image in false color. In order to obtain this picture, you will require more than 90 million pixels. And also in one panchromatic band, it includes 120 million pixels, and the processing is important for the gathering of that information and using machine learning algorithms for their interpretation with a combination of bands, operations, and multiple operations in geology in the areas of rural urban classifications, agrology, geology, and geomorphology. And also the analysis of images allows the elaboration of or archiving of important images that are then reviewed in order to identify the changes in skills and for phenomena such as the urban expansion, anthropic activities, among others. The Geographic Agustin Codazza Institute has a wide experience in this. In the last 8 years, it has developed 92 multi-corporal studies for different processes, starting for remote images. This is just a general example, because with the use of drones and the inclusion of radars and smartphones, and now we expand this horizon. What is the multipurpose cadaster? So this is a geospace study with reality is we're living in Colombia. This is the way we are trying to update the cadastral study at 100% of the country. And why? Because they allow identifying changes in the territory, and so we can respond to questions of where has a municipality changed more. So if the resources were used for what was planned, or if I'm going to visit a territory, what I will expect. This will allow in saving money or resources and a better understand, a better view of the lands in the country. So this also helps locally and globally with important information, historical information for any events that may occur, so that the government has the tools for the decision making. Now, let me share with you some of the applications, and the technologies are always evolving. We may have a requirement today, but they have their own rhythm. Maybe in 2 years, this may be different. Right now, we need to have more extensive information on massive teleprocesses to update the cadastral information. So we also use secondary information from the networks in the cloud, and then we integrate them into other platforms. So we also require to build this collaboration, especially of the images for the official cartography. Also progressing in the use of sensors, drones, optical satellites, radars, and so on, incorporating new technologies for geospatial reference and to apply emerging technologies for georeference. One simple example of this technology in this process are the real estate observers. We need to have a market information for cadastral use, and that's why we have these technologies. So in the end, when a person is buying a property, real estate, so it should show the location, and in the drawings it has some value. But if we go point to point, building by building, this may give us a global perspective of how the market is working. So by having a geospatial reference, it is important for us how to obtain real estate information or land information around the country. And this will allow also on the pricing of the lots or the land. Also, where there are new constructions, the view of the expansion to what area this community or this area is already expanding. So, in the case of a location or neighborhood, it may be very costly, and there may be mistakes. But with this georeference and with the space information for specific expansions, we may have more specific pricing. For example, in the case of a constructions with Adobe and clay tiles, so this may change. So we may create an algorithm for such classification, and so that the realtor doesn't have to go to the door, and it will he the realtor will use this information. So it is not the people who will classify the buildings, but there may be a follow up, a more effective follow-up and a processing to save time, and that we may also organize the processes. In other words, to follow the same procedure case by case. As you may see, as you can see, there are many uses of geospace information. Several projects precisely have been performed. We are developing one together with the Peruvian space agency, CONIDA, and we are trying to, yes, build our capacities with SAT1 in geographic, cadastral, and risk management. We are exchanging technical information for the benefit of the Peruvian satellite that are high resolution and are fundamentally for the construction and in order to optimize our processes and to provide an added value to the observation of the Earth. So what does future expect? So the first is the interoperability. As we have observed, We may all be using these technologies, but we need these systems to talk to each other, to exchange information, so that we may take profit of them. Secondly, the collaborative tools, because this is open, all of the information to the users and how they consume it. So this is a very important tool. In our smartphones, we have georeferenced our photos, so they may feed web maps. Because when a user uploads a photo and this is georeferenced, this will enrich the tool and it will help all of us. Secondly, to help the governments that by using these technologies, you may learn what's happening in the territory and to anticipate to events or phenomena, and this then consequently will help all of the citizens. We also have the challenge that this will is becoming a key tool, and it will be basically or based on the needs. These will make the government structure stronger so that it may provide safe, quality information, multi-purpose that may be used by more people so as to obtain more benefits. My invitation is to continue collaborating to take advantage of these advantages of these technologies, and they are called to be more efficient and effective for all of our processes. Thank you so much.